Tonight is a holiday. Did you know that? It's a double. Tonight is Pesach Sheni. It's a double take on Passover. Pesach Sheni is the second Pesach. It's a very unique holiday. It was more relevant in temple times. What's so special about this day in terms of just conceptually, in terms of the Torah, Am Yisrael was commanded to bring the sacrifice in the first month of Nisan, in the month of Nisan, the middle of Nisan. Now, there were people who were contaminated at the time who couldn't bring the sacrifice, or people who were at a far distance and they were unable to bring the sacrifice, but they wanted to take part in this mitzvah. So what did they do? They didn't just sit back and accept the judgment. They said, no, Moshe, this isn't okay. Why should we be withheld from doing this mitzvah? They went to Moshe. Moshe said, you make a good point. Because I'm going to go bring it to my boss. He brought it to Hashem. He went to Hashem. Hashem changed the law due to their pushback. Hashem said, you're right. Hashem changed the law, and Pesach Sheni was created. A second chance for those who are far off or contaminated at the time, who couldn't technically do the mitzvah, to be able to do it again. So this idea of pushing back when you think something is true can sometimes get you in trouble, but sometimes it can be a valuable thing. So I want to bring your attention to a Mishnah in Pirkei Avot. If you want to open to page 642 or 643, it's a time when people learn Pirkei Avot, ethics of the fathers. So in our Siddur, page 642, 643, at the end of Mincha in the Siddur from Shabbat, all the 6 chapters of ethics of the fathers appears. People tend to learn these during the 6 weeks between Pesach and Shavuot when Pesach ends. So I thought it'd be relevant to learn a Mishnah here. So the Mishnah I want to bring our attention to is Mishnah Daled. So I'll read it in English. Yossi ben Yoezer, and I think this talks about this concept of pushback and fighting for truth. Yossi ben Yoezer of Zreda and Yossi ben Yochanan of Yerushalayim received the tradition from them, from the previous rabbis, in the previous Mishnah. Yossi ben Yoezer of Zreda used to say, let your house be a meeting place for sages, sit in the dust at their feet, and with thirst drink in their words. Okay, so this seems to be, there's different messages here, but the message of sitting at the dust of the feet of the rabbis means basically take it as much as you can from them. If it means you have to humble yourself, lower yourself, and drink with thirst, and through that you'll be able to drink their words and with thirst, that's a worthwhile endeavor, and you'll gain a lot of Torah in that way. One day when I was in yeshiva, one Shabbos I was in the library, and I happened to come across a commentary that interpreted this the complete opposite way. I was so happy I came across it. So I'll share that with you. If you look in the Hebrew, it says, Yehi veitcha veitva'ad l'chachamim, may your house be how do they translate it? A meeting place for the sages. Vevi mit'abek be'afar ragleihem. Right? So the language that's used in English is you should sit by the dust of their feet. Avak means dust. So mit'abek means to sit at the dust of afar ragleihem, the dust of their feet. But I saw this commentary in Ruach Chaim commentary. He says that the mitavek is not from the language of dust, but litavek, which means to fight, or to combat, or to battle. Vayavek ishimo. Yaakov fought with an angel all night. Hitavkut is like a battle or a combat. So he says this hints to the complete opposite way of understanding the Mishnah. Not necessarily you're sitting in a very passive way and only receiving everything that you're being given, but rather, if you see something wrong, if you see something that's not true, battle, go to war for the truth, fight back if you can, in a respectful way, obviously. And through that, then you'll really be able to drink in their words, because you'll be able to sift through what doesn't fit with you or what you don't understand. Doesn't mean that you're right, but you push back, you ask questions, and you push to achieve truth. And through that, you can really get to the depths of the Torah, to the most clear, filtered Torah that's possible. So that was the case here at Pesach Sheni. They pushed back, and they actually were answered in a positive way. Hashem created this first opportunity for these individuals to experience the mitzvah. And from there, you see the positive component of pushing back, fighting for truth when it's needed.